European, Christian, Muslim, Jew. May the first at last bring peace to you. From the Vistula to Scotland's shores, let it today consign our wars to history, where they belong, and trust its union makes us strong. Today, let us start to tolerate, to value and appreciate that in differences of skins and tongues, we find a richness that becomes a quality to celebrate in each and every European state.
The Light for Europe. An introduction. The economic and political partnership that is the European Union is home to 505 million people, a single market of 28 countries. It has the higher GDP than the US and accounts for some 20% of the world's trade. For half a century, it has acted as a beacon of peace, stability and prosperity. It has progressively raised the living standards of its citizens and encouraged their free movement throughout much of the continent. It has aided the liberation of half a continent from the totalitarianism and consistently promote human rights, both at home and around the world. Its institution, being legally bound about human dignity, freedom, democracy, equality, the rule of law and the respect of human rights, under the Charter of Fundamental Rights enshrined in the Treaty of Lisbon in 2008.
In 2009. And yet, somehow, much of this is now forgotten. In the aftermath of our economic collapse, today we seem to know little of our union and to think less. In the European parliamentary elections in May 2014, only 8 of its 28 member states recorded voter turnout of more than 50%. In Poland, 77% of voters stayed home. In Slovakia, 87% found something better to do. Planet Brussels has become the showcase example of remote elites. The television shots from European summits show endless middle-aged men in suits getting in and out of large black cars. So wrote Timothy Garth-Nash, a rare British pro-European, in The Guardian only this month. Having delivered half a century of peace, stability and prosperity, its people now find themselves the targets of austerity as their societies suffer its consequent instability. From north and south, meanwhile, come the rumblings and the refugees of war. Just when it is most needed, Europe's light is dimming. In its half-light, there seems to be only anxiety and confusion. The need to tend the flame is urgent, but politics and politicians find themselves widely distrusted. Europe's institutions are judged, if not to have been actually culpable for the events of the last 7 years, then to have certainly failed to protect its peoples from their consequences. From Scotland to Greece and Portugal to Poland, as people struggle to make sense of the real world, increasingly they voice their real concerns in the real politics of single issues. Sometimes they're incoherent, often they're misdirected. But from water protests in Ireland to anti-Islamic rallies in Germany, they are disrupting the business of politics as never before. looking for the exercise of responsibility as much as power, seeking leadership over management. They ask that the right things are done, not just that things are done right. More than anything, they look for a glimmer of light at the end of their long, dark tunnel, a sign of hope, perhaps, or a sight of land. And nowhere would a sight of land be more welcome, of course, than among a generation seemingly lost forever at sea. 24% of young Europeans remain without work, many of them having never experienced any form of paid work or having any immediate prospect of doing so. Europe is blessed, at least, with an extensive coastline, and its coastline in turn is blessed with an abundance of lighthouses. Many are unoccupied or disused, and most are conveniently located in popular tourist destinations. The book Lighthouses of Europe by Daniel Charles and Graham Pisson details some 230 of the best, from Scotland and Ireland to France, Spain, Portugal and beyond. The Phare at Carteret in Basse Normandy being a good example. The Phare stands 81 metres tall. At present, much of it stands empty. Youth unemployment in the region, meanwhile, stands at over 25%. What better place to make a start on the Light for Europe project? What better place to encourage Europe's youth to explore and promote European solidarity and identity, to unite in diversity, as the motto of the European Union has it, through art and culture, and through local initiatives that address local needs in the fields of energy, communications, transport, education, commerce, food and nutrition, connecting Europe's future with Europe's past, while tending Europe's flame for all to see.